What if the most powerful thing about you has never needed an audience? What if you've been walking through rooms, leaving impressions you never even knew you made, and the people most affected by your presence were the ones who said the least? There's a quiet phenomenon that psychology has studied for decades, and yet most people live their entire lives unaware of it happening to them. It's the gap between being noticed and knowing you're noticed. We live in a world that tells us attention must be loud to be real. That if someone is drawn to you, they'll announce it. That if you're making an impression, you'll feel it immediately. But human behavior is far more subtle than that, and far more fascinating. The truth is, social perception doesn't always announce itself. It operates in the background, in micro-expressions, in unconscious movement, in the way a room subtly reorganizes itself around a particular kind of energy. And today, we're going to explore exactly how that happens, and what it reveals about the deep psychology of human attraction, presence, and the signals we send without ever opening our mouths. Let's start with something researchers call the gaze behavior paradox. When a person finds someone genuinely compelling, not just physically, but in terms of presence and energy, their eyes are drawn involuntarily. This isn't a choice. It's the brain doing what was designed to do, track what it finds significant. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment that gaze is caught, something else kicks in: social self-regulation. The person looks away, fast, not because the interest disappears, but because being seen looking feels vulnerable. Think about that for a moment. The very act of looking away quickly is, paradoxically, one of the most honest signals a person can give. It means the attraction was real enough to feel embarrassing when discovered. Most people interpret this as indifference. They think, he looked away, so he wasn't interested. But the psychology tells a completely different story. Indifference doesn't get caught. Indifference doesn't need to hide. Only genuine attention does. And then there's proximity behavior, one of the most reliable indicators in social psychology. When people are drawn to someone, they unconsciously close distance. They position themselves nearby. They find reasons to enter the same physical space. This isn't calculated. It's instinctual. The brain seeks closeness to what it values. So when someone keeps ending up near you, at gatherings, in group settings, in shared spaces, without any obvious social obligation to be there, that's not coincidence. That's the body following what the mind hasn't yet put into words. But physical attraction is only one layer of this. And honestly, it's not even the most powerful one. There's something in behavioral psychology called presence magnetism, the idea that certain individuals carry an energy that reorganizes social dynamics around them without any conscious effort. You've probably felt it before. You walk into a room and something shifts. Conversations briefly pause. Eyes move without permission. The space itself seems to recalibrate. This isn't mystical. It's deeply psychological. It comes from a specific combination of traits: calm self-possession, the absence of social anxiety, a quality of attention that makes others feel genuinely seen. People who carry this kind of presence don't seek the room's approval. And paradoxically, that's exactly what makes the room come to them. Researchers studying social mirroring have found that when we're drawn to someone, our bodies begin to subtly echo their movements. We lean when they lean, we reach when they reach. We breathe at a similar rhythm. This happens entirely below conscious awareness. It's the nervous system's way of building rapport, of saying, I am attuned to you. If you've ever noticed someone matching your posture or gestures without either of you mentioning it, you are witnessing one of the most primal forms of human connection, the kind that happens before language, before logic, before any deliberate choice. And then there are the words people use. When attraction moves beyond the surface, the language changes. People stop describing what they see and start describing what they feel. They say things like, you have a different kind of energy, or there's something about you that's easy to be around, or simply, talking to you feels different. These aren't compliments about appearance. They're attempts to name something the speaker can't fully articulate, the felt experience of being near someone with genuine depth. And they reveal something important. Real attraction is less about how you look and more about how you make people feel in your presence. Here's the layer that most people never reach. Your presence doesn't just affect those who are attracted to you. It affects everyone in your orbit, including other women, including people who have no romantic interest in you at all. Confidence, true, quiet, unperformed confidence, is one of the most socially disruptive forces in any room, not because it's aggressive or demanding, but because it holds up a mirror. When someone is completely at ease in their own skin, it becomes impossible not to notice, and sometimes not to compare. This is why women with genuine self-possession sometimes notice other women recalibrating around them, not out of hostility, but out of recognition. Something in us responds to authenticity, even when it's uncomfortable. Psychology calls this upward social comparison, and it's an involuntary reflex. We compare ourselves to those who seem to have something we want. And what most of us deeply want, consciously or not, is the kind of peace that doesn't need external validation to feel real. There's also something worth exploring in the assumption of value. When a person moves through the world without urgency, without chasing, without performing, without contracting themselves to fit someone else's expectations, others begin to assume they must have options. They project value onto that person because ease signals abundance. It's one of the quieter ironies of human psychology. The less you appear to need something, the more people assume you already have it. So what do we do with all of this? The insight here isn't really about decoding other people's behavior. It's about something much closer to home. Most of us spend enormous energy trying to read whether we're enough, scanning for approval, second-guessing our impact, measuring our worth by who responds to us and how. But psychology suggests a different path. The qualities that create real presence, calm, self-possession, genuine engagement, freedom from performed approval seeking. These aren't qualities you perform for others. They're qualities you cultivate for yourself. And when you do, something interesting happens. You stop needing the signals because you're no longer waiting for the room to tell you who you are. The eye contact that lingers. The person who keeps finding their way into your space. The compliments that go deeper than the surface. The way a room quietly reorganizes around your energy. These things don't become more or less real based on whether you notice them, but you become more real to yourself when you stop needing them to feel certain. The most compelling version of you has never been the loudest one in the room. It's the one who is so genuinely at home in herself that others feel more at home in themselves just by being near her. That kind of presence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't ask to be recognized. It simply is. And that, more than anything, is what people can't look away from. So here's what I want to leave you with. You are not invisible because people stay quiet. Sometimes the deepest attention comes in silence, and the most powerful presence you'll ever carry is the one that no longer needs to be confirmed to feel true.